I never imagined that a single unexpected knock at the door could unravel the carefully kept secrets of my double life. But that's exactly what happened one ordinary Thursday afternoon, in a quiet neighborhood just outside Chicago. My name is Rachel Monroe. I'm 28, a teacher by profession, and I had always been the kind of daughter who followed all the rules. Straight A's in high school, a scholarship to a decent college, and a stable job teaching middle school English. On the outside, everything about my life looked perfectly aligned. What no one knew, not my friends, not my coworkers, and especially not my family, was that I was keeping a secret that would shatter every image of me they held in their minds. The truth began 3 years ago when I met Travis. Travis was charming, intelligent, and unfortunately, not mine to begin with. He was married. I had no intention of getting involved with a married man. In fact, when I first met him at a teachers' conference in Indianapolis, I had no idea he was even taken. He was a guest speaker, giving a passionate talk about student mental health. After his session, we ended up chatting over coffee. One conversation led to another, and then a dinner, and then, well, more. By the time I found out he had a wife and a 2-year-old son, I was already too emotionally invested to walk away. He told me things were complicated, that they were separated in spirit, that she didn't love him anymore, and that he was staying for the sake of their child. I believed him, or maybe I just wanted to. Either way, I let myself fall further. For nearly 2 years, we kept up the affair. It wasn't glamorous. There were no candlelit dinners in public or romantic vacations. Everything was hidden. He'd come over to my place a couple nights a week under the pretense of work travel. I knew it wasn't sustainable, but I told myself it was temporary. That he'd leave her. That we'd be free someday. The truth was far murkier, but I was too far in to pull myself out. That brings us to the Thursday everything changed. It was early October. The weather was just starting to cool, and golden leaves fluttered along the sidewalk outside my apartment. I had the day off, thanks to a scheduled teacher planning day, and Travis texted that morning saying he could come by around noon. I tidied the place quickly, lit a candle in the living room, and waited. We had barely made it through the front door before things escalated between us. Maybe it was the thrill, or the desperation we both felt having so little time together. All I know is, we didn't even make it to the bedroom. We were tangled up on my couch, unaware of the world outside, until a knock shattered the moment. At first I froze. Travis immediately pulled away and stood up, fixing his shirt and whispering, "Are you expecting someone?" I shook my head. No, not anyone. Another knock. Firmer this time. I hurried to the door, still trying to catch my breath and calm my nerves. I peeked through the peephole. My heart dropped. It was my dad. My father, Richard Monroe, had been away for nearly a year, working on a contract project overseas. I had no idea he was back in the country, let alone standing on my front porch. I looked at Travis, panicked. "It's my dad," I whispered. Travis looked equally alarmed. "What do I do?" I thought quickly. "Get into the bathroom. Don't say a word. Just stay there." He slipped away without argument while I smoothed down my hair and adjusted my sweater. I took a deep breath, then opened the door with as much fake calm as I could muster. "Dad!" I exclaimed, forcing a smile. "What are you doing here?" He grinned and opened his arms. "Surprise. I thought I'd come see my daughter in person instead of calling. You didn't think I'd come back and not see you first, did you?" We hugged, and I led him inside, trying to maintain my composure while my heart pounded in my chest. "I didn't know you were back," I said, trying not to sound too thrown. "I landed last night. Thought I'd rest a bit and then come by today. I hope I'm not interrupting anything." No, I lied. "Just cleaning up a bit. It's my day off." He looked around, then settled onto the couch. I offered him water and tried to keep the conversation flowing, praying that Travis would stay silent and my dad wouldn't ask to use the bathroom. For 20 minutes, we talked about his trip, work, and family. I laughed at his stories, nodded at the right moments, but inside I was falling apart. Every creak in the hallway made me flinch. Every pause in conversation made my stomach twist. Then came the moment I feared most. "Sweetie," he said, getting up, "do you mind if I use the restroom real quick?" I almost said no out loud. My brain scrambled for an excuse, but nothing made sense. He was already heading down the hall. I followed him, trying to stay ahead. "Oh wait, actually, the toilet's acting up. The plumber is coming tomorrow." He raised an eyebrow. "You? With a broken toilet? That doesn't sound like you." "I've been managing," I said with a weak laugh. He stopped walking, looking at me with the same suspicious eyes he used when I'd lie about sneaking out in high school. He knew something was off. Just then, before I could redirect him, the bathroom door opened. Travis stood there. Silent. Exposed. My dad stared at him, then slowly turned to me. "Rachel, what the hell is going on?" I froze. No words came out. I looked from Travis to my dad, feeling the blood drain from my face. Travis tried to speak. "Sir, Don't," my dad snapped, holding up his hand. "Just don't." There was silence. A heavy, painful silence. My dad turned back to me. Is this man married?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. He shook his head, stepping back like he didn't recognize me anymore. "I came here thinking I'd surprise my daughter with a visit. I didn't expect to walk in on something like this." "I'm sorry," I finally said, my voice barely a whisper. Travis grabbed his jacket. "I should go." My dad didn't even look at him again. He just walked to the door and opened it. Travis slipped out quietly, and the door shut behind him with a hollow thud. I stood in the middle of the living room, my heart still racing. My dad sat back down, but this time, the warmth was gone. "You're better than this," he said after a long pause. "You know that, right?" Tears welled up in my eyes. I didn't mean for it to happen this way. "How long?" "Almost 2 years." He looked down, nodding slowly. "Does his wife know?" "No." "You know how I raised you, Rachel. I didn't expect perfection. But I never expected you to be the other woman." I couldn't respond. I had no defense. All I had were emotions: guilt, shame, confusion, regret. He eventually stood, grabbed his coat and said, "I need some time." I nodded, tears rolling down my face. When the door shut behind him, the silence was deafening. The aftermath of that day lingered for months. My dad and I didn't speak for a long while. When we finally did, the relationship was strained, cautious. Travis and I ended things not long after. The fantasy had finally been destroyed by reality, and I could no longer pretend that love justified the betrayal. I learned something valuable in those dark weeks that followed. Secrets, no matter how deeply buried, always find a way to the surface. And when they do, they don't just hurt you, they hurt everyone who ever believed in you. That day taught me that you can't build something beautiful on a foundation of lies. It will collapse, eventually.